So when you were younger, mate, as a child, obviously, that's when you were younger, isn't it? Tell me about like your first memory of money, what it was like, how it impacted you, how did you feel about it? Do you have any early memories of it? Did you feel like you were from a wealthy background, not wealthy background? How was that a part of your life as a child?
Yeah, so I mean, when I grew up, I'll be completely honest with you. I come from a family where I had everything that I needed. It wouldn't be necessarily everything I wanted. I was from a very supportive family. They'd always make sure I'm supported in all the activities I did, but I wouldn't typically say I was spoiled. When it comes to the earliest memory of money, I guess it probably goes back to my golf days. Everyone always has a story about how they were a bit of a hustler when they were younger and things like that. And I do have a very similar story to that. I remember being at the golf club up there every single day, and I needed to make some money. And the way that we did it was we'd spend most Saturday afternoons in the gorse bushes by the sea at Caister Golf Club, looking for balls. We'd come back with 100 to 150 a day, and we'd be selling them to the members. And that kind of gave me my really first taste of making money. And from there, it was just trying to find those little and wonderful things to find ways. The next thing was the really common one, which was going in, getting the sweets and selling them at high school and things like that. But I'd say that's my real first taste of money.
Entrepreneur right from the beginning. So when my last weekend I went to B&M and my son spotted they were selling packs of Nerds for 15p, and he bought on his own card 30 packs of them. I think £4, something like that. Yeah. Since the weekend, he's already sold all of them at school for £1 a pack.
That's unbelievable, yeah.
It's a mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so coming out of that then, when you coming out of the golf bit and you're getting a little bit older, early start of beginning of your career, you're starting to earn a little bit of money. Was there anything in your mind then around money being anything other than just a tool in order to pay the bills, or were you starting to think further on at that point, or hadn't it happened yet?
Yeah, so I actually had a really weird start to working life, really. And one of the things that I really wanted to be was a professional golfer. And I would spend a lot of time at the golf club. And then I realised I wasn't going to become a professional golfer. And I kind of went through this 2 or 3 year stage, really, where I was a bit of a bum. I didn't do anything. All I did was play Xbox all day. I had no intention to make lots of money or even become financially free. Obviously, I had no idea what investing was or had any care for it then. So I actually went through a little bit of a stage where I didn't do anything then. But then something just switched. I think it was the place where I worked. I got a job at a software company, and the people that were surrounded by me there were quite entrepreneurial. They were talking about They were talking about investing at the time, although that's not when I started investing. And it was actually one guy that I met at the software company that told me about Amazon FBA.
Yeah.
And that was my first real kind of big side hustle that I did that went on for quite some time, where essentially Amazon FBA, you're kind of doing, I did this thing called retail arbitrage, which very much like your son, you'd go into B&M and retail shops and you'd find things that you could buy at a lower price and then sell them on Amazon for a higher price, and you'd make the difference after the fees. So once I got that taste of earning money by myself, that's when I just become a workaholic essentially, and that's all I pretty much done since then. But the first introduction to money, like I say, coming out and into the working world, I was a bum.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. All I did was played Xbox, watched football, and I gambled.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So many people are like that.
That's the question, but
Yeah, no, that's it. I was the same. I went through the same journey. We've recently talked about it quite a bit. And listen, this is the important thing. A lot of people don't discover investing or trying to be an entrepreneur or trying to make money or trying to change their lives until they get to being a lot older. I was 37 years old before I really properly started to explore it. Some people would even think that's too late, but it's not too late. So listen, and tell me about then your journey into starting to invest. What made you start? What made you start to take it seriously? How did you learn about it? How did that journey go? Tell me all about that.
So it was pretty much 8 years ago to this day. So I was doing Amazon FBA. I was doing YouTube as well, talking about Amazon FBA at the time. And whilst that was all good, earning money, I couldn't really see a future where I was going to be able to take the money I was earning from Amazon FBA and actually make it actually last longer. I was earning the money from my Amazon FBA, and that was paying for my lifestyle because I'd quit my job at the time. And the only way I come across it was once again, going back to Amazon, it was an Amazon guy that was talking about his investments, and I was like, well, I should be doing that as well. So that just kind of led to one thing to another. I think the very early videos I was coming across was the American YouTubers. So Graham, Stefan, Meet Kevin. I think it was financial education at the time, where I've learned to kind of stay away from those kind of channels now, because they're not, whilst they're great channels, they're not very much useful for UK people. And then I just looked into it further and further from there. But the problem what I had was the start I had was the wrong start, because the people I was watching, they were encouraging me to do the things that we shouldn't be doing. And I started off very much investing into individual risky stocks. I was doing all of the practices that I preach people not to do now. So the first 2 or 3 years of investing, I was looking at those like kind of individual stocks that just wasn't great. And then I'd say about 3 or 4 years into my investing journey, that's when I kind of moved on to those diversified funds, and I felt a lot more confident with my investing as well. But the one thing that I will say though, the 8 years that I have invested, I have managed to invest every single month. Sometimes that's only been £50. Sometimes I've invested into the thousands, but that's the one thing I have been proud of. Well, now at the time, I didn't know too much about the importance of showing up every single month. But the one thing I have done is I have showed up every month. And that has really taught me one of the biggest things in investing, and that is discipline and consistency.
Yeah, 2 most important things that there are, to be honest with you. So you learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
Now, if you started 8 years ago, that means that we're talking 2018, which means 2.5 years into your investing journey, your portfolio dropped in March 2020 by 30 to 40%. How did that make you feel? What did you do about it? And has that had an impact on your investing journey since?
100%. Now, I don't think, even now, despite all the drops that we go through, I'd be lying to you that if the market was to drop 20, 30% again, I wouldn't feel terrible about it. I think there isn't a human being on Earth, that wouldn't be able to go through that. But the one thing that I have learned is that things are probably going to be okay. And the more times it happens, the more confidence you have. Now, going back to 2020, I remember exactly what happened. You know, I just invested. I think it was my biggest ever investment that I made in a single month. To me, it was about £1,200, and it was into VUSA, the S&P 500 ETF. And the next day it dropped whatever it dropped. I can't remember, but it was a lot to me. And I was bricking it. You know, I was watching every news article. I was like, oh my God, what's going to please announce something that's going to kick something on? And nothing really happened. But I actually, just going back, I was a little bit more prepped before then, because I had a really bad experience with an individual stock prior to that. I invested into Facebook stock. That was one of the first companies I invested into, and things were going amazing with Facebook stock. It was going up 1 or 2% every single day. And then, I don't know if you remember, they had the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Overnight, my investments went down 25%. And honestly, it was to the point where I thought there was a problem with the investing app. I thought the investing app had glitched out. I was like, there's no way it's dropped 25%, but it had. And that taught me a lesson very early on. And obviously, as we know, Facebook stock has recovered from that and gone on to more new all-time highs. But yeah, just going back to the feeling of when, 2020 happened, I think just the worst thing that happened was it happened. But the best thing that happened, it was, 3 months before it was back to all-time highs? So, it teaches you a lesson that you shouldn't panic at all. And then we had it in 2022. It's happened again. Yeah. We had it 2025 with the tariffs. The more times it happens, it will never go away. The feeling of, is this like going to be bad? But the more times, it makes you feel more comfortable every time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right, last question, Christos, and this is the most important one for me, I think, because a lot of people start investing and they don't actually necessarily know why they're doing it. A lot of people are doing it because they want to buy designer goods, or they want Lamborghinis, they want to live in Dubai, whatever it may be. That's not the way I want to do it, and I don't think it's the way you want to do it. But have you actually genuinely got a proper goal, an exit plan, a year by where you want to get out? an amount that you want in order to do it. And what is that dream life that you're trying to build as a result of investing?
At the start, I had no plan.
Yeah.
And I want to say I had no plan for the first 3 or 4 years. Then I kind of said, right, I do want to retire early, and I realized that it wasn't all about materialistic things. I was very much into my designer clothes, probably when I first started investing 8 years ago. Now that's completely changed. But it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years ago where I really sat down and said, what do I want out of my investing? You know, and that's when I came up with the thought of, I want to have £1 million by the age of 50. Now, that's not because I want to stop and do nothing. That's because I've said to myself that £40,000 per year, I don't even care about inflation right now. £40,000 is going to be a good base for me. It doesn't matter what happens. I know that that's going to be a good base for me, and I'm not going to feel the pressure that I have right now, that I have to continue working to pay for things. The other big thing is I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and I just don't want to have to think about money. We were speaking before we started filming this video about me contemplating a trip to Portugal.
Yeah.
I say it wasn't about money, but there's probably a bit of money in there, you know, and like, I don't want to have to think about that. I want to be able to just say yes and not have to worry about the consequences. And, you know, that's really all it is to me. It's not the materialistic things. I just want to be able to, freedom. You know, money just gives you options.
Yeah.
And that's all it is to me. It's just options.
Okay, so anyone that doesn't know where they can find you, Christos, tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all under Fellas Finance. It's not just for fellas. That is my surname, very commonly known as that. But yeah, Fellas Finance. I'm sure Neil will put it in the description or something like that. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yes, big man.